Hello everybody and welcome back to part 8 of our M3 Lee tank build here. And what we're up to here is working on the engine cover, which is these two parts here. But what I wanted to first of all show you is all the parts that need to go on here just turn out to have to be all photo etch. There's lots of photo etch pieces. And looking at the instructions here, you can see there we are, step 67, and we've got to do this at the moment, and these are all little handles for photo etch, and there's a couple of other little bits and pieces going on there as well. Alright, now what I've done is I've got these two pieces off, one for each side, for these little lights to go on. That's them sitting there. Alright, and I've cleaned them up, they look fine, and I've just bent the hinges for them to sit on. When I realised that, see, what I use here is one of these Master Tools photo etch benders. Now I've got it pulled apart here. The reason why, because I've had this for about 2 years now and I've never taken it apart. And you should have seen all the crud and rubbish and stuff that was sitting under this plate under here. And I'm wondering why it wasn't holding the pieces in properly, because there was just so much gunk underneath it. So what I did was I've just cleaned it, and I'm just going to screw this back on. It's spring loaded, as you saw, and I'll screw that down like that. And as you see, it rotates. These are great tools. This is a small one. You can actually buy the bigger versions of this, but you can rotate it around. Just get it. There we go. So you've got all these little bending templates along here. You've got small part here that holds small parts. And if you want to bend longer pieces like railings, you can do it on that. But a very handy little tool. And it certainly, you might think, oh, well, I can just hold it in the tweezers and bend it. But you're risking of them pinging off and disappearing to the carpet monster or whatever. So whereas here, it's all held in firm. And what I do, I can't show you what I've already done, but you just slide a piece in there, clamp it down. I use a razor blade. Slide that underneath and bend your piece up. Done. Makes life really easy. The tile you see here is for actually taking the pieces off the fret. So I took those two pieces off that little area in there. Okay, and all I used was, I have a separate knife for photo etch. I've written on this one here PE. Okay, and that one I'll use, and I'll just cut those pieces off and use this as a nice flat solid surface. And you just pick these up, go to a tile place, they'll give you, it's just a sample tile, and that's the size all you need. And countless times I've used this. It's fantastic. So that's for those. And now that I've got all this cleaned up, I'll be able to do all the handles that are going to go all on this piece here. And we've also got this piece here to take off, and there's some photo etch that goes in there actually, which I think is that grill. It probably is, yeah. It'll be that grill there is going to go into that. All right, but I just thought I'd show you a little tip of cleaning the. Make sure your tools are clean, because yeah, all the stuff that was under that, it wasn't sitting down. When I'd screw it down properly, I noticed it was still sliding underneath there, and it was because of what had built up underneath. So same with these. Keep them well oiled and done and looked after as well, because they'll last you literally forever, and they'll cut like they did first day one, you know. So all right, I'll come back when I've got some more photo etch off. I'll use this little bit of black cardboard there just to keep my parts on, so that I can see them and they're not going to get accidentally bumped and roll off somewhere. And yeah, all right, I shall be back further with a bit more progress. Okay, welcome back everybody, and I can't progress any further. I've run into a bit of a problem. The only CA glue I can get hold of here in Thailand is not specifically for modeling. So what I did was I bought some of this here and I used it, and yeah, even before I opened it, 2 days after I bought it, I went to use it and it all dried solid hard in the container, so that went in the bin. This one here is the only other option I have. It's called Sticko Gel, and unfortunately when you touch a piece onto that, it gets all stringy. It just comes off like, you know, like really stringy. It's just, I can't use it. It's no good at all. So that's gone. So what I am going to do is buy some Icky Sticky glue, which is my go-to when I was in Australia. And it was one of the things that I couldn't bring over into the country here when I came through customs. So I put in an order. Monique over there at Icky Sticky has boxed it up and sent it off on Friday last week. So hopefully it'll be here this week. But what it means is I can't go ahead and put any of this photo etch on. What I will be doing is I'm going to keep all the parts and all the pieces we need for the photo etch in step 67, and then I'm going to put it all aside in a little container, something like this. I'll just pop it in and keep everything where it's all not going to get lost. I'll do that shortly. I'll also take that mesh off and any other parts that need to come off, and then we'll go and have a look at the instructions and where we can move on to something that isn't photo etch, because I just can't glue until I've got that Icky Sticky CA glue. Alright, so let me come back and we'll have a quick look at the instructions. Okay, so other than the mesh piece that's going to go on, that's about all I can do. There are two little hatches that I can put on that aren't photo etched, so I will put those on. But other than that, that's about it. We might be able to put this piece on the side, but I also want to be checking the fit as well. So we'll just hold off on that as well. So we'll come back to this. Let's go over the page and see what step 68 has. And here we are with step 68. And obviously lots more photo etch, but there are some tools here. We've got an axe, we've got a shovel, we've got an iron here. So these parts we can take off and get those painted up ready for the photo etch to go on them. Looks like there's about 4 pieces of a pole in there as well, or it looks like an axe handle. I'm not sure. Obviously we'll get those pieces off. I'll do that now, and then we won't be putting them on. Moving down here, we've also got this part here. So we've got some cable, which I think is included in the kit. I'll have to check that out and see what we've got. These here are a couple of plastic parts. These are the hoops on the end, the hooks on the end, and there is some photo etch to go on them as well. All right, I may get that part all sorted, so that could get all that part, all that section all completed. If I get all these pieces done and I still haven't got the glue here yet, CA glue, not a problem. We can move over to step 70, and there's some parts here that need to go on. That looks, yeah, looks like there's some fuel bottles or something mounted on the side of this ring here, and a couple of pieces on there. So not a problem at all. Okay, so I'll reset myself up here and we'll start working on these tools, and actually we'll get these hatch pieces. In fact, I won't even do that on camera. I'll put those in with all the parts when we'll come back to it. But for now, we'll get onto those tools. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've got all that photo etch all put aside in here. I put those little hatches on, so they're all fine. So that's good. I test fitted that cover over the engine just to check that gap. There is a gap there, but I think I've come up with a solution. We'll come to that when I get to it later. There's a couple of options I've got for possibly having that hatch off. Here we have all the tools to go on the back, the axe, the shovel, and a couple of handles and an iron. And what I'm doing now is I'm trying to figure out what the best way to put these together. Should I paint them now and then put them on after? These all are attached. See, I'll bring this across. See, these are all going to be attached by photo etch onto that back panel. Now obviously that's going to be done in olive drab, but these handles are going to have to be brown on the axe and the shovel, and then we're going to need a steel iron cover on metal parts and the heads and that. Whereas the photo etch brackets holding them all onto here are going to be the green with everything else. So I'm a little not sure how about to go about doing this. It's going to be very fiddly, and those photo etch pieces are so small they're impossible to paint individually. So I'm hoping I can actually attach them down and then put the tools in. But there's some points here where I might be able to slide the back of that tool into there, but then I'm not going to be able to get that. That's definitely going to have to be put on at a different stage, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's going to be tricky. The other thing too is these parts, these cable, the tow cable, it's not supplied, which is a shame. So yeah, if you can see that, I'm trying to get that clear for you. So yeah, the tow cable is not supplied. It's got that little symbol at the top there, which means scratch build, which in this case means buy one. I don't know how you would actually scratch build, although I have come across this. Now the cable itself is 14.5 millimeters long, which I think is going to be pretty close to what I've got here with this, which is, I think this was like a camera secure thing, so you don't lose your camera when it's connected to the attachment on the motorbike or whatever, you know. But it's a tow rope, really. Look at that. I mean, it's going to make a great tow rope. I think it's pretty much down to the right scale as well. So what I will do is I'll look at that after and see about how that will go about fitting on there. But that may be my only option for that piece. Okay. Yeah. All right. So what I'll do is, if you can give me some advice, I'm going to put these aside. I'm not going to do anything now. Should I paint them on the tank, everything green, and then come back and touch them up with the brown and the handles and the axe head and all that while they're on the tank, and just touch them all up after the tank's done all green? Or should I do them separately and put them on separately? Yeah. The other thing too I wanted to check with you guys is, what color is this going to be? Obviously it's not going to be, I mean, it'll be steel, I'm sure, but it's not going to be that color on the tank. Is that going to be the olive drab green as well, or should I try and paint this an iron darker color? Because that's obviously going to look too shiny and new on the back of the tank. Yeah, so I'll put these aside. Let me know what your opinion is of how I'll do those, and I'll put them away with all my photo etch, and we will move on to something else. I just want to show you also another thing here. See, even some of these parts here and these ones here, you can see they actually go and hook under the photo etch handles that I would have previously put. All these handles that I've got all set aside that go on here, these photo etch straps actually go around those handles and around the handles of the tools. See, there's another one there where it goes around the handle. So it's going to be, maybe it's best to just attach the whole lot onto the back here and then go along with a brush and brush part the tools on there, because that's just going to be way too tricky. And then you'd be dealing with trying to glue parts down on painted surfaces. Way fiddly stuff. Anyway, give me your opinion on that. All right, let's move on. Okay, welcome back everybody. So I've done a bit of progress, as you can see here. I've put the whole top on the top of the tank there, top on the top. So let's just quickly look back at here. What's happened is this part, I put that together, which is still here actually. All right, now I don't know what happened, but I glued it and left it. When I come back, it just, yeah, it didn't glue at all. Now it's glued, so it's okay. So this sits down inside the cabin there. I've test fitted it, it's going to be fine, but it will have to be painted before I put it in there. It's going to be all white, except for these bottles here, or flasks. which are going to be green. So that's all fine. That's all ready to go on. That step 70 is complete then. I also put these parts on here, which you'll see just on there. 1, 2. So those two are on there. So that's great. And then I went on to doing this top of the tank here. So I've glued these on, and that's this part here and this part across here. All right. There's also a piece underneath, which is here. Okay, so that piece is on the underside, and then basically that whole piece sits down on the top of the tank. So I thought, well, maybe a good time to test fit, because Jesus, if that doesn't fit well, we got problems. Anyway, I've pushed it down, I've put it in place. There is a gap there, but it's not glued yet, and it doesn't take, look, there's hardly any pressure at all, and that fills the gap. Everywhere else around is perfect. I'm really happy. The guns still moves, okay, it slides and turns. It also goes up and down, okay, which I'm not real comfortable with the up and down motion, but we'll see. I've got to take this off again anyway, obviously, to put this, got to go inside, which I wish I'd painted and put that inside before I test fitted this, because it's gone on so well. I hope it does go back on so well when I want to put it back there again. Now, these are bits of sprue in here, which I've left deliberately, just to give me something to hold. But it's gone on well, so I am really happy. There's no gaps anywhere around. Under the front here, I thought there was going to be a bit of a gap, but it turns out it isn't. It's fine. I just need to check the fitting in here and make sure this is sitting in where it should be. Obviously that whole turret isn't glued, but I just do want to make sure it's sitting properly, and we're good to go. All right. So what I'll do right now is, well, I'll pop this back out. I'll get this painted up white and do the green, and then fit that down inside. And that's it, and then we can put all this, I'll be able to actually glue this in. Yeah, which does hide a lot of the interior. It is a tight fit. It actually fits down inside the walls all the way around, and it fits snug and tight, which is good. There may be an option, I'll see how we go, if I could just not glue that and have the option to take it out. The whole turret that we haven't even started work on here yet, that can be lifted and removed in and out, but you really can't see a lot of the work I've done on that interior. So yeah, I'll think about that. I probably will glue it in place. We'll see how we go. And to be honest, just looking at the instructions ahead, we'll have a look here, going over the page, you'll see that there's a lot of stuff. We've got all these hatches to go on the sides. We've got all bits and pieces to go on. All this, a lot of work around the exterior of this, the hull of this tank now. So there's no reason why I can't just leave the top off for a while I'm deciding on how I want that to go on before I permanently lock it on and glue it down. There's a lot of stuff that can go on before we need to worry about permanently putting that in. Okay, but that's getting a bit further ahead. Don't forget, we've also got to still put all our tools. I'm going to hold off and get some advice from you guys on whether I should be painting them first, then fitting them, or painting them after they're fitted on the tank. Yeah, but we shall see. Alright guys, I will be back in a few seconds with this painted up and this not glued in, but that piece will be fitted in there. Okay, back in a second. Okay, so while that part that's going in the center there, I've painted that up and that's drying. We'll move on to some other parts here, which is on the top here. We've got this little piece here, which will go over the top of that. And then as the turret, as this gun turns, this will slide across here, which means we can't glue it in place on there. just be aware of that. This is in step 73. It doesn't tell you not to glue it, but you don't want to glue it, because if I glue that and then I go and put this on here, I won't be able to turn the turret, because this is going to be sticking up in there, and it's not going to let me move it. So the idea will be, when I'm painting the whole outside of the tank, I'll have to put this somewhere safe and paint it separately, so that when that's on top like that, I can put this piece over the top on there, and it does fit tight, so it'll press down tight and it'll sit there and will still allow me to move the gun. Alright, but it doesn't tell you not to glue it to the top of this, so don't be careful of that. What I will have to do now is put that away somewhere very safe, so that it gets painted to the same olive drab as the exterior of the tank. But also, while we're here, I'm going to put on, there's a piece that goes under there, and then there's a couple of bits that go on the back there as well that are strangely not photo etch. You would think that these are. There's two little handles, DA31, two of them sitting on the outside there, and there's a handle there that goes above this hatch entry. None of those are photo etch pieces, they're all plastic pieces. So yeah, it's interesting why they didn't go with photo etch on some of those. It looks like I'll find a lot of other pieces that could have been photo etch as well. Maybe there is aftermarket you can purchase that might have a bit more detail done in the photo etch. But anyway, that's not a problem. So I'll get on to doing that. There's a light of some sort that's going to go here all the way. You've got to be careful, because even though they've got these pieces over here, they're actually, you follow the line, and they're actually going on this side of the tank over. Okay, so they're all going on this panel in under here. So fortunately I can remove this out of the way and get access easily under there and work on that. Alright, so I'll do those parts now, and then when we come back I should have that piece inside there, or at least ready to paint, because I've got my olive drab. I'll have to paint those little canisters on there with the brush. Okay, back again a sec. Okay, back again, and a bit more progress. My God, some of this stuff is so tiny. So what I've done is these little lights, these I guess are the headlights. I've got these taken off, and they need to go on these mounts here. Alright, now originally they were to be put on with some little lights beside them. What I've done is I put the little light on the mount first, and then I've attached it onto the tank. So now all I have to do is lower the lights into their positions on either side. It's the only way I can do it, because it's just so small. It was just hard to hold things. The only thing that will need to go on those will be the lenses, which will be the last thing. There's quite a bit of glass work to go around the place after everything's painted. So, but they'll go on shortly. Okay, I've also done the two doors that go on either side here. Okay, now I'm having them in the closed position. Alright, so I've test fitted them, they go on no problem. So I've just had to attach this piece on each one, and they're good to go. Now here is our ring shaped piece that sits in the center. Now the reason I'm having these closed, okay, also I didn't mention before, this hatch on the top here, I'm also having that closed as well. I've decided this fits so well that I'm not going to glue it in, so I'm just going to be able to lift this whole top off and display everything inside. But when it's all put together, I want everything closed up like it's ready to move. All right, so I'm going to have all these so far all closed, all the hatches. Maybe this front one here might be open, I'm not sure yet, we'll see when we get to it. So this part here, what I did was I put a bit of masking tape on there to help me, just to make sure I didn't get paint where I didn't want it to be. So let me just take this off now, and that should be no problem at all. There we go, and that's off. So it's olive drab on those bottles. I'm guessing they're water bottles in there. It's hard to, I'm not sure. But we'll take that off like that. That's good. And we got one more on this side. There we go. Alright, so there's our water bottles on that. So now I'll put that inside where it goes. It's already test fitted, so I know it'll be fine. I can take that out of there now. There we go. Alright, so I'll do that. Then I can put this on. I won't glue it, but I will fit it in there so that it's in place as per instructions, but I know that I'll be able to take it out. I might as well take those off as well. I haven't decided whether I will paint this. I'll probably paint this in position on top, and I'll just mask this hole up somehow. I'll figure that out later. Alright, let me tidy up my little mess here and be back in a sec. Okay, so here you can see I've got the ring in there, and that is this part here going down. It's a little bit tricky to follow where it's supposed to connect and everything, but I'm going to glue it in 3 separate stages. I've first glued it into the back of the firewall there where it attaches. Then I'll come around here and I'll attach it where it sits on top of the little post on that checker plate there. And then finally, when all that's dry, I can push this into place where it sits over on the side there, and that'll be it. And then if all is done well, when I put this back in, it should clear where the seat is. In fact, we should be able to do that now. Let me just pop that in there now and just have a quick, yeah, look at that. The seat just fits down in there and it doesn't interfere. There we go. Once that's in spot there you go. The back of the seat doesn't touch it and we're good. And it still needs to go over a little bit further yet, so we've got plenty of room to spare. So that's another good relief, that is. Get that back out and put that aside. And yeah, it's coming on really well. I will, of course, dirty it up a little bit, make it sit in there so it doesn't look out of place being so clean. So I'll put a bit of panel line wash and stuff on there a little bit just to grease it up a bit. But yeah, it's all good. Anyway, thanks all for this video. I'll end this. It's about half an hour going in. And when we come back in the next video, we should be able to put those headlights on the front. I will definitely have my Icky Sticky CA glue and a couple other things to show you coming to me from Australia, with big thanks to Monica there to organise that package for me. And we'll be able to get on with the other parts that I was asking about before. Hopefully in the comments you'll let me know about the shovel and the other parts, what I should do. You know, should I be painting these now or wait until they're already on? Because there's so much photo etch attaching them down, it's going to be probably a lot easier to paint them after they're already on the tank. Okay. And of course we need that CA glue for all the photo etch, because I just can't use the crap here that I got to deal with. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and thank you all. Don't forget to subscribe. You can join now for just the price of a say it right, for the price of a cappuccino a month. And keep an eye out for my live streams every weekend, as well as our Facebook Hangout group we've got as well. All right, thanks guys, and I'll see you all next one, which will be part 9 already. All right, cheers all. Bye for now.